Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the UFC White House card. It was recently announced, and it is absolutely stacked. Now, there's been some criticism, and some of the criticism has been fair, but this fight card is going to deliver some fireworks. Yes, pun intended. It features the best fighter in the world, in my opinion, Ilia Topuria. It features the scariest fighter in the world in Alex Pereira. There are some legitimate superstars on this card. There are rising stars like Mauricio, Ruffy. I'm very excited about this fight card. I think there are just a couple of the smallest tweaks that can be made to make this fight card absolutely epic. So it's an exceptional fight card. It's not an all-time fight card, but it's close to being so. So let's break down every fight. We're just going to go high level, provide a quick synopsis today. And when the fight gets closer, I'll provide a complete fighter breakdown and really go into detail. But, right out the gate, Ilia Topuria, like I said, he is the best fighter in the world. He's, still undefeated, and this is going to be a problem for Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, he is going to get smacked all the way back to Lexington and Concord. He is going to get absolutely destroyed. But, our country is built on an underdog story with which to begin. So maybe, there's an opportunity for Justin Gaethje to shock the world. But the opening line is like around minus 550. And I think Topuria is going to get a first round knockout. Justin Gaethje is also 36 years old, and that's going to make it even more problematic against Ilia Topuria. And then, when you look at the co-main event, this is sick. And I'm glad the co-main event doesn't feature an American, because this is probably the best fight you can make at heavyweight without, Tom Aspinall. And it's a pretty insane fight. When you think about Ciryl Gane, he's really light on his feet. And is he going to be, and he looks really quick as a heavyweight, is he going to still look just as quick against Alex Pereira, somebody who was once a middleweight, somebody who is now a light heavyweight? So does his speed advantage and his striking advantage get instantly neutralized? And I don't know, because Alex Pereira is older now. He's 38. Now, Ciryl Gane is 35, so he might have slowed down just a bit. He looked good against Aspinall, but again, what does your speed look like against a smaller guy, right? It's going to be a little bit different. So I'm really intrigued. Ciryl Gane is going to have a pretty big size advantage over Alex Pereira, but he's not going to take the fight to the ground. So this will be most likely a striking matchup. And I slightly favor Alex Pereira. I'm a little torn on this. This is a really good fight. Alex Pereira, who doesn't love him? Now, this next fight with Sean O'Malley versus Aiemann Zahabi, this is where one simple tweak could take this fight card to the next level. Yes, you can argue that Aiemann Zahabi has earned this fight. He's ranked number 6. He's taken on number 3. Zahabi's on a pretty big winning streak. I think it's like 7 fights. But he's 38 years old, and it's not going to be a competitive matchup. Sean O'Malley should be fighting either Corey Sandhagen or Umar Nurmagomedov. And I actually like Umar Nurmagomedov because it's an opportunity, regardless of who wins, you're really gonna amplify the brand value of either fighter. So I think this fight is a mistake. It will deliver, though. I think Sean O'Malley's going to light him up. I think he's going to be too fast, too smooth, and I think Sean O'Malley is going to win by probably a second round TKO. And then let me just see, what was the other fight before that? And this is one of the other fights where I think the UFC made a mistake. I love having Mauricio Ruffy on this fight card. I love having Michael Chandler on this fight card. I do not love both of those guys fighting against each other. And the reason is, Michael Chandler, he's going to get absolutely destroyed. And I'd rather have him in a competitive matchup. And what I would do, I would keep Ruffy on the card. I'm going to tell you about who he should fight next. I would rather have Michael Chandler fight somebody a little lower in the rankings. He's 13, or somebody that's unranked. Somebody that's going to strike. Ruffy's going to strike, but he's probably not going to throw crazy volume. Well, actually, he might against Chandler. He's going to be so much faster. And then what I would do with Ruffy is I would actually just have him fight. He's number 9. I would have him fight number 8 ranked Dan Hooker. That's a fight that would deliver. Not every fight has to be against an American versus somebody else. I like how you have, how they have American fighters on almost every fight. I mean, that is good. It is, the independence card, but I think, I think something where you just where there's not such a rooting interest in the American fighter, so you don't have to watch him get absolutely destroyed. But have Ruffy versus Dan Hooker, and that's going to be a stand-up fight that would deliver absolute fireworks. And then what happens? That's a fight Ruffy would likely win, and now he becomes a star in the UFC. And this is what's going to happen right now, regardless. I mean, because he is going to absolutely destroy Michael Chandler. I'm thinking like second round TKO. It might even be earlier than that. And then this fight is a little bit curious. Bo Nickal versus Kyle Daukaus. It's actually kind of an appropriate fight for Bo Nickal. Kyle Daukaus has looked good, and Bo Nickal, he's coming off a win. He has that one loss to Renier de Ridder that looked, pretty bad. I think he still has a long way to go in the sport, but he is friends with, with Trump. So, I mean, it makes sense. I've heard that Trump wanted Kyle Daukaus on this card. This is an interesting matchup. I would have taken somebody, though, other than Kyle Daukaus, who has big time upside. So what you can do is you can build that brand right off a win. Kyle Daukaus has a very low ceiling, and Bo Nickal might be a ceiling. I think Bo Nickal by second round submission. And the opening fight, I love this fight, and I didn't see it coming. Out of all the fights I was thinking about what was possible for the UFC White House card, Diego Lopes versus Steve Garcia wasn't it, but that might be the most exciting fight on the entire card. It's the most exciting fight because it's probably going to be the most competitive fight. Steve Garcia, I think he's on a big. Oh, you know what? I may have mixed up Steve Garcia's winning streak with Aiemann Zahabi. Hold on, let me just click real quickly. Let me just take a look. How many? Oh no, Aiemann Zahabi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and 7 wins in the UFC. I mean, this is not cross promotion. And Steve Garcia, I think he's somewhat similar. I mean, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so he's on a 7-fight win streak. This is going to be a big step up in competition. I mean, Steve Garcia is a knockout artist. Diego Lopes, can finish you from anywhere. Right now, I'm taking Diego Lopes by third round submission, but we'll provide, like I said, a bigger breakdown, or a more in-depth breakdown as this fight card gets closer. But out the gate, this is an insane fight card. I'm excited about it. It could have been much better with just a couple tweaks. Hopefully they're going to make just a couple tweaks, because just a few small tweaks can just, make this an all-time card, even though it is only 6 fights. That's it. Like, subscribe. Thank you.